DMT thing, if we do you mind talking a little bit about it?
Sure, no, no,
No,
no,
okay,
not at
great.
all.
So I will be completely candid, and I found that an incredibly useful part of finding who I was and getting myself out of a destructive spiral. Now I didn't do any neuralistic programming, but um, what I did find is that was kind of a catalyst to pull myself out of and see myself from a third person perspective and kind of find a new way of seeing things. I mean, what was kind of your experience with that, and how did that play into kind of your self discovery?
DMT was such a beautiful thing. I was in Vienna, and it was after a long process. I made this first time in my life. I was on a big stage. We did a whole performance for an hour at the World Body Painting Festival, and it was a long haul to prepare to do that. And again, it was something that was very personal and so important as it always is, and whatever. And at the end of it, I was at a friend's pad in Vienna, and he had some and said that this might be cool for you to do. And the scene and setting was right, and it was like arriving. There was this fractal ocean that took me over. I arrived to another dimension. That's the only way I can describe it. There were these angelic beings there that welcomed me. I felt unconditional love, like never before. And I was given a very simple bit of life advice that stays with me today, because it was just that, I was frustrated at a bunch of things not going my way, or going quickly enough. And basically it was just this perspective that sometimes when I have the red light, that means that other people have the green light. And sometimes when I have the green light, other people have the red light. As in that you are part of a community, that you're part of a world that is interactive, and it's not all about you. and sometimes when you're in the trenches of your own stuff, those kinds of things can really hit home like a baseball bat. And it did. It was such a beautiful thing, and it lasted about 10 minutes, even though it probably felt like a lifetime.
Yeah.
And then the next day I was I was flying back to Helsinki, and there was a transparent sort of element in the airport, and I thought that nothing was, it was just 10 minutes and it's over, but apparently not, because I walked into that transparent sort of wall type thing at the airport, and was a little puzzled about how the world worked for a couple of months after that. But yeah.
Yeah, no, I found that as well. But it's the same thing. I came back with a piece of advice. I came back with something that kind of changed my way of seeing the world, and I would say overwhelmingly got me out of a destructive spiral with other things, and was a positive experience. Now, obviously, I'm not advocating everyone needs to make their own decisions about what they do. We're just talking about personal experiences. But I do think that I'm almost reluctant to call it the same thing as any other type of kind of substance, because it's not the same. It's not something that you would run off and do for fun, if that makes sense. It's kind of it's
Yeah,
not,
no,
no,
not at all.
no. There's not much that's fun about. It's not something you could just do and do again. It's something that actually kind of actively discourages you from doing it again.
It's, I think the large picture with regards to crypto or many of these types of things is that I understand why many people would be discouraged of talking about DMT or ayahuasca or whatever it is, but it's one of those things. It's like I was deathly afraid of any psychedelics before I did them, because I thought, well, I'm already kind of crazy. What if the things about them are true and I become more crazy and I won't be able to come back from that and whatever? And then I discovered Terence McKenna and a bunch of other institutions. What's it called? I always forget the
Oh, is it the one? I'm not quite sure if it's the one that's
four letters. Jesus.
Oh, is it the one that Albert Hoffman ran? No, I'm not sure.
No, it's the maps.
Oh,
Maps.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so you get all the sort of actual scientific research and the credible scientists working in that field and whatever, and opening it up and being brave about their own thing.
Yeah.
I just listened to all of that stuff for about, I think, 30, 40 hours of different lectures and things like that.
Just
And
to be clear, that isn't the same thing as the new maps, which is something completely different. But what does it stand for? The one that you're talking about? Because there's now another acronym for MAPS, which is about something.
Institute of Psychedelic Research, whatever it is. If someone Googles MAPS and psychedelics, that'll come up.
Okay.
But essentially, like Rick Doblin, is that the guy who? But never mind. The idea is that you might have a perception of something like that is being touted upon and said that this is absolutely how it is, with a certain kind of force that you're meant to believe this thing. Like you're meant to believe all drugs are bad. But then you discover that not only are they not the same, they're worlds to themselves in a certain kind of sense. And some of them are very helpful and some of them not so much. With regards to psychedelics, like for example, it's about middlemen in a certain kind of sense, much like it is in crypto, is that you have this whole central banking system or banking altogether, and people don't really understand how money works. And in a similar kind of sense, people don't really understand how health works, because it's beneficial. Let's say maybe some of the first churches or some of the first spiritual insights people ever got was on psychedelics, and psychedelics have been with us for thousands and thousands of years, and likely played a major part in of coming to consciousness in a certain kind of sense. And you have a direct experience with the immaterial, and then you don't need a priest. You don't need an institution. You don't need the Catholic Church in order to access this divine realm. Well, that's not necessarily a very good thing for the Catholic Church. And if they've had thousands of years to develop into the global force that they are, they might be disparaging for you to have this direct access because it's beneficial for them in order for them to be in between this whole thing. And I'm not only saying that that's how it is. There's obviously beneficial things that people are getting from the church and organized religion and whatever. There's beautiful things about that too. But let's just call it that there's a massive incentive for the middle guys to get corrupted along the way in order for you to have the direct experience.
Yeah.
And whether that's the pharmaceutical companies, whatever, all those kinds of things, you need to have a lot of courage in order to resist and be explorative, let's say cautiously, and getting educated of what it is that works for you. And I find it that part of the reason why I feel very comfortable in the crypto world is that there's a lot of people like us here. They didn't just swallow everything that was forced upon their throats and said that this is how it sort of works, which feels like this might not be in my own benefit. and you go and explore, and it's the intent is not to break the law. The intent is not to be antisocial. The intent is not to just rebel for the sake of rebellion. It's more like this thing of, this is what my soul calls me to do, and this is the right thing to do, and I don't care who the fuck you are. You're in the way of it now, saying that I can't have this direct experience, and this what feels